alive, above dirt. Very good friend.
Did you turn that up yet?
It's good to know you're above dirt. He's in a better place, though, my God.
Ready to tear.
Got a.
Station board floating.
Hello, Joshua? Yeah, you hearing me all right?
Yeah, I got you, Ken.
I'm not getting any audio on my end. I'm having some challenges with my speaker, I guess.
Maximum volume.
How is everyone doing tonight?
Ah, got some now. Okay.
Hey, Ken.
Hi there. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I got good audio
Hello,
now.
guys.
Do you want to try to do a 432 FT8 contact? If you do, I'll power up and point it at you.
I've been working on, I came up short on the field day preparation, so I've been working on that. Unfortunately, I haven't messed
Okay.
with that. So
All
we'll
right.
do it next time.
Okay, that'll work. I know that Mark Clayton was asking me some questions about PSK 31, and I worked PSK 31 years ago.
Yeah, me too.
And he was asking about FL Digity, and I use a program called WinMix, and I looked today on my computer, and the version I had was like 2002 or something. So I went online and downloaded the latest version, and it doesn't look like they're asking for a license, because I didn't have to put in my license. So they may have quit doing that because I think the latest version now is like 2 or 3 years old. So they may not be updating it, but I powered that one up, and it's working like a charm.
Yeah, I never did have to enter my license. I think that I haven't played with it for a while, but I think I'd spin up pretty quick. Anyway.
On PSK 31.
Yeah.
Okay, did you use the WinMix?
No,
W?
I was using FL Digi,
Okay,
and there was another Digipan,
yeah, that's right. I remember
and I
Digipan.
used Digipan.
I like the colors on Digipan pretty good.
Yeah.
But
So, but I did get both to work.
I'm just
Anyway.
saying that if he's having trouble. I think that Mix W is really a good program.
Really,
It's got some other modes in there too.
might have to,
Um,
look at it.
even slow scan TV if you want. I worked at Cuba and slow scan TV years ago on 20 meters.
Joshua, do you go by Josh?
Joshua.
Joshua? Okay.
Yeah,
Anyway,
So-
welcome.
like
So
the
Ken,
three-
what's that device that has the big knobs on it in the background?
Which one? Let's see.
It's kind of olive drab colored. It has knobs along the bottom.
Oh, this guy right here.
Yeah, that one.
That one is a Navy, 1940 something Navy communications receiver that was on shipboard for entertainment purposes of the sailors. And it does broadcast band, and it does the lower frequency amateur bands as well. But it's strictly a receiver. It weighs 103 pounds according to the placard on it. And it actually works. I haven't got an antenna on it and powered it up since I put it up there. I need to do that. But there was it came up available to have to be taken out of another one of our associates garage. So they offered it and I accepted. But yeah, I'm looking forward to getting that lit up again.
Sounds like the price was right.
Oh, the price was perfect, but it was a heavy load to pull
Yeah.
in and out of the car.
Yeah.
That thing's probably that thing's probably chock full of valves, isn't it?
It is big transformers, and
It's a real receiver.
it is a real deal. And like I say, it was built for entertainment purposes for the sailors.
So is that rack mount?
It is a rack mount, so they had it mounted in the obviously had it mounted in the communications center, whatever they call it in the Navy. I was Air Force, so but
Well, you know, Sam,
Hey, Ken and
Sam's a
Ken.
man.
Ken, are you not driving to Norman anymore?
Not with all this coronavirus crap going on.
No, the other Ken.
yeah. Okay, there we go.
Holy cow, look at that.
It is packed solid full. And but it does work. It lights up and it works. So I just gotta restore it back to the appropriate connections that it had. And I have every confidence it's gonna be fun to listen to. Gonna be a lot of fun to tune on.
You got a schematic or any kind of information on it?
Actually, I found a manual online for it.
Good. Does it list all the tubes?
I don't remember. I don't remember. But there is online documentation for it.
Chock full of valves. None of that solid state rubbish.
Not in that. That won't care about an EMP pulse at all. It'll keep on going. So now, Sam, I've been waiting on my daughter to finish her vaccine series during the peak of the Omicron crap. So I've been staying home a lot.
Yeah, we're in isolation here. So
Uh-oh, you got something or?
no, my wife's having some surgery,
Oh, yeah.
and if she tests positive, then they won't do it. So
Yep.
we
Yeah.
just decided to
Keep your heads
to,
down.
yeah, we stocked up and just decided, nobody in, nobody out.
Well,
And
my daughter gets her second shot on Sunday, but I'm gonna go down and stay down there and she can get her shot, and then I'm gonna hide in the garage for several days. We'll just stay on opposite ends of the house.
Yeah, I came down the Omicron about 2 weeks ago, so
Well, England has thankfully concluded their mismanagement of the thing and turned it back in, turned off the pandemic switch. Hopefully the United States will do that soon.
That's some wishful thinking.
I know, but
I know, I heard today Pfizer's testing a Omicron booster shot.
well, that's going to come around. I mean, you know that, but
I also heard they've detected 2 more strains.
well,
of
they're going to
COVID.
keep coming, but
Yep.
we got to start living again.
Yeah.
If each one is progressively weaker, then you start to treat it like the flu, and you still make shots available and ask people to use common sense, and hopefully that's
Oh,
where we end up.
That's
Yeah.
an impossible thing to do.
I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, it just felt like nothing but just a really bad head cold to me, and that's all it felt like.
Have you had any of your shots, Joshua?
I just had the J&J.
Uh-huh.
Well, evidently that was enough to keep you from going into ICU.
Well, I had COVID before I even got the shot. So
You ought
You
to
have
be,
a little bit of immunity.
yeah, you ought to have some pretty significant immunity then.
the only reason why I fell on my sword and got the J&J is so that the Navy Reserve wouldn't kick me out,
Yeah.
because they're kicking people out left and right, not who won't.
It's stupid because the vaccine is like it's not effective. It doesn't prevent it, so it's stupid. It's all about
I don't know. I think it prevents it. It's just not 100%, but no
Keep-
vaccine is 100%.
No,
Oh,
if
this
it
is
Never
a lot
has been or never will be.
if
but
it
this
keeps
is
you out
not.
of ICU, I think it's pretty effective.
Well,
Yep.
it's not 80% effective at preventing it. Now, I won't argue the fact that
Yeah.
it reduces the severity. And that my doctor told me that more than a year ago.
Yeah, I think it does both, but
Well.
anyway. Hey, let's talk radios.
I agree
Anyway.
with you, Sam. Let's talk radios.
All right.
So
Enough of that.
I don't know if you all been seeing this Daryl, that was the Okapa, passed away, went silent key.
Oh,
His
no.
widow's been actually a bunch of the Okapa guys have been helping go through his stuff and try to get the widow a decent price. And anyway, I picked up several little things. I picked up a bencher key.
Another key?
Yeah,
When are you going
I
to
just
start
kind of
using them?
I just collect them. Actually, I just bought one for $100 on Amazon or I'm on eBay that I got in this bidding war and just got carried away. And anyway, it'll be here in a few days. But
So,
anyway, I picked up the bencher. I had the MFJ knockoff of it, so now I've got both the original and the knockoff.
Yeah.
Real deal, huh? Okay.
I have a bencher. I use a bencher paddle.
It's definitely especially when you sit them side by side, it's definitely beefier and
Yeah,
it's a nicer feel to it. But
it's a little heavier too. It don't
Yep.
move around when you're keying.
and I also got an ICOM 51 ID 51 for a good price.
That's the radio I have, is a 5100 Alpha. I got rigged up as a base station with
That's
a Comet GP3 antenna mounted to my roof line.
I don't know what they've got left over there. If anybody's interested in anything that says Collins on it, there were a bunch of them. Yeah,
Well, I've got rid of all my boat anchors.
not sure. I'm not sure that there wasn't like something wrong with every one of them, and you could, have to piece them together to get one good one. But
All the physical pieces are there. They're eminently repairable. I mean,
yeah,
it's just. But
I mean, here I am sitting just a little over a month already or a little over a month having my license, and I'm already looking at HF rigs. Is that is that the sickness? Is that the ham radio sickness? Have I caught it? That
Yeah,
I just
there's no vaccination. Sorry,
No.
for the reference. But
so are you married, Joshua?
yes, I am.
So I'll just tell you what I tell my wife. She just buy equipment but at least like if you played golf, you buy the equipment, but then you have to go pay to play. With ham, you don't have to pay to play. You just, once you buy the equipment, you just play. So, but it's,
And you
it's
can play at
endless.
home, play at home instead of go to the golf course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But,
Just tell her it keeps you out of them bars. Well, we got Bill and John.
John and
Mike
Bill and
jumped in here.
is it
Mike
Carl
and-
up there?
Ken, did you do any good on FT8 today?
I worked a few stations and I just a while ago, I moved down to 30 meters. I haven't been on there for a while. And I worked 4 or 5 stations on 30.
Yeah, I'm seeing about 10 on 20 meters right now.
Yeah, I kind of skip over 20 meters. I've got 160 or 70 countries on
Contacts already.
20 meters. I've got over 200 countries on 10 meters.
And I went down to 10 today, but I couldn't make any contacts. I called quite a few folks, copied them, but
Yeah. There was a few South Americans on.
yeah. And I tried on 12, but nothing. I think I got 1 on 15 and about 6 on 17 meters.
Yeah. I worked on my logbook some today, trying to bring it up to date. I still never did find out. I asked there on our Discord website, as you've seen a couple of times. And I'd like to know what logging program they're going to use on field day. I think it's that N3FJP, but I'm not 1,000% sure.
that's what we use.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to buy that.
Yep.
But I wasn't
Yeah.
going to. The logging program I'm using is a pretty old one, and I thought that I would. Matter of fact, it came out before Logbook of the World, and it's a little cumbersome to upload to Logbook of the World from it. So thought I'd bring myself into the 21st century and buy a new log program.
It's actually a pretty nice program.
Yeah, it
I
is.
like it.
And very
like it.
reasonably, very reasonable.
And you get updates for life, and you get all the contest downloads, and so it's really a good deal.
What was it called again?
The program's name is November 3 Fox Juliet Papa. And it's good for life if you live that long.
I keep my ARRL memberships due, and I keep thinking I ought to do the lifetime one, but I'm not sure that's not a kiss of death, It's like,
Well, yeah.
If you'd have done that 20 years ago, it'd have been okay. But
yeah.
Right. It's like a lifetime fishing license.
Yeah.
Well, down to dirt cheap now. I think $15 or something for a lifetime now,
yeah.
as opposed to $250, and I bought mine just before they raised the rate at $69 or $70, and then they upped it to $250 or something, whatever it is today, $225. I
Well,
think. Anyway,
Mine's free,
and,
hunting
yeah.
and fishing.
How old do you have to be for that?
I think 62, but don't quote me
that
on that. I also have the pass that gets you into any national park.
That is a bargain,
Yeah.
It was,
even now.
that was $60 when I bought mine 2 years ago, my parks pass.
Yeah.
Hey, guy, quick question about the net that's on 2 meter W5NOR repeater that happens at the end of this meeting. How do you check into that?
Sure, that's now that I forgot the word.
They have the Aries net, and then they have a gossip net
Yeah.
afterwards.
They're both roll call nets. So you have to wait through the net until it's over or towards the end, and they'll ask for any visitors and just check in as a visitor.
Okay.
I didn't know the gossip net was that way. I knew the Aries net was a roll call net, but
Yeah, Gossip Net's been a roll call net for a long, well, ever since I've heard it. So
right.
that's not been too long that I've been around it.
So they're basically calling out people that are regularly on there. They've been on there recently, and that's the roll call, right?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I don't know how the Gossip Net works, but I think the Aries Net goes alphabetical by call. Well, there's Mike. I think I saw him. Where'd he go? Where'd he go?
He's there.
Got two mics.
Hey,
2 mics, 2 Kens.
I was thinking about you today, Mike. Was your ears burning?
which mic?
You. I wasn't talking about you. I was thinking about you.
Oh,
Little mic
Was
to
it
mic.
anything good?
yeah. Was it anything good?
I was thinking that you ought to get on FT8 and make contact with me.
Okay. I can do that.
Little mic to mic contact there.
Yeah, a mic to mic contact.
I'll
Without using a mic.
You have to promise not to send me
That's funny.
QSL card because I don't have QSL card.
I don't have too many.
Logbook of the world's the way to go.
I
got
also
one.
bought this little.
So do you need Logbook of the World and this N3 FJT both?
Yeah.
Well, the
Yeah.
N3 reports to Logbook of the World. It collects stuff on your computer, and then you can download it to Logbook of the World at a push of a button.
Or
Answer
you
is
can
yes.
upload to QRZ or Logbook of the World, or it allows both.
The
That's what I've
answer
been
is yes.
using for my logbook is QRZ
Right.
for now. So
Okay, I got a QSL card today. Now that you mentioned it, it is from HB9Q for moon bounce contact on 432 megahertz.
Wow.
Okay, since
Well, that's
talking about,
And,
since you're talking about EME, have you heard of the call K6 EME?
K6 EME?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, I have.
I worked him today.
Oh, you did, but you worked him on 17.
I was on FT8.
On what band?
I think it was 20 or 17.
Yeah, I've worked him before.
Yeah.
This is HB9Q in Switzerland that I worked on 432 moon bounce.
Wow.
So Ken 1, I've got a question about moon bounce. Well, he was old. He's older, so we'll call him Ken 1.
Yeah,
and
that's what I was going to
He
say.
was here
Sandberg, we'll call
first.
him Ken 2.
He was definitely here before me.
So it is moon bounce more effective when it's a full moon, a partial moon? Or does it have any effect over?
Well, there's a lot of things that affect conditions for the moon, and full moon, it doesn't really matter too much. The things that degrade your signal is whenever the sun is close to the moon, you pick up noise from the sun.
Okay.
And the other thing is you have to have a moon, and the people you're trying to work have to have a moon at the same time.
Right.
So, and there's other things that the noise behind the moon, even if it's not close to the sun. So there's several things that affect it. Of course, it's better when the moon is closer to the earth because it doesn't have so far to go. And there's a lot of attenuation between the earth and the moon and back, over 300 dBs.
Seems like you'd have much better range. I'll call it when the moon's low in the sky, either.
Well, when the moon's
Rising or
low in the
setting.
sky, you have some ground gain. 3 to 6 dB ground gain. But also when the moon is low in the sky, you pick up ground noise. So it depends on your QTH, whether you have a good clear shot and a low noise location as to whether that ground gain helps you or not. But I can definitely tell whenever my antenna gets up about 15, 20 degrees, the noise goes down. The ground noise goes away. I'm not picking up this crap from everything around you here.
Right.
Once you get that antenna pointed up in the sky. Your antennas, I got two 25 element Yagis, and they have a pretty good front to back. So when the front of them is pointing up, the back of them is pointed down to the ground, but the noise on the ground is attenuated due to the front to back of the Yagi antennas. So that helps.
And then you tell me you finally got your tracking. You got your tracking thing all working.
It tracks real good now. I can start the tracking, and when the moon comes above the horizon, the antenna will swing over to it and track it until the moon sets.
Wow. Pretty cool.
What program do you use to feed that?
It's called PSK Rotator.
Uh-huh.
It's I can't remember. It's about $25, I think.
Well worth it.
It also will track satellites and all kinds of stuff if you want to do satellite work.
I don't know if it was like last weekend or the weekend before, but I got to play with the NOLD rover. I made contact with the rover, and I got a QSL card for my contact.
Cool.
Yeah, so that was kind of fun.
That's on 2 meters.
Yeah, 2 meters and 70 centimeters.
Oh.
Well, that'd be fun.
Oh.
Hey, Sam,
Yeah.
what, is that a new addition to your shack there, that D104 in the foreground?
The one I just put back on the shelf. Is that what
Yeah,
you just, yeah. I just picked that up out of Daryl's estate. He had 3 of them sitting there, and
is it amplified or plain?
I think it's just plain. It doesn't even have a plug that'll fit any radio that I own. So
Well,
It's just as well, Sam, because if it had a plug on it, it'd be the wrong one anyway.
well,
Yeah.
that's true. I mean, it does have a plug. But it's like a stereo plug, but it won't fit any of my ICOMs. But
Yeah.
I think it looks cool on the shelf up above all my keys
I
keys that I don't use.
I put a connector on mine so I can plug it into my K3. So can be done.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Actually, just a minute ago, I was sitting here unscrewing the plug on it just to see how many wires and what it's got. But I just bought it just because it's cool looking. It's like all these Morse code keys I've got here.
What sort of device is it?
The microphone.
Microphone.
Oh, okay.
I'll get it back down here. Oh. I don't know if you'll be able to see if I can get it to where it'll.
Your background.
there
there
you
you go. That's a good shot of it.
Well, that's lovely.
That is
There's
nice looking.
give you a scan of it there.
It looks like it's in pretty good shape, Sam.
Yeah, he had 3 of them sitting there, and they all look virtually brand new. And
I've got one, but I don't think it looks that good. Well, it's not too bad, I guess.
by the way, for those of you that come over to help my widow, I do have a spreadsheet that shows all this stuff.
Yeah, well, what's the password?
Well, she'll have to get you into the computer.
Darn.
And for a little while, I had it totaling the what I'd spent. Then I decided that just made it too easy for her.
That's not a good plan.
Yeah, let
Not unless she's very forgiving.
her figure it out.
Besides that, she knows, then she'll know how much money you spent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, she's pretty good, but she did tell me the other day I gotta slow things down a little bit here. That's because she's hearing that the stock market may be taking a plunge this year. So
Well, it's way overpriced, I think, Sam.
yeah.
Probably going to.
Well,
Might be a sensible thing to make some adjustments in anticipation.
Well, nobody knows.
No. Well, there's some people up there that probably do. They're going to run it and control it, but oh well, anyway.
Yeah.
And the HFE, what do you got there?
you know,
That is a really cheap junk 6-meter dipole.
I see a very thin wire or string.
Yeah, it's pretty thin wire. I'm going to put some
Wire,
better
okay.
wire on it, but I was being real cheap and it was laying around.
Yeah.
It's the drain wire on a shielded twisted pair that I stripped for primary antenna wire. And I thought, well, I wonder if that'll work too. I need to twist 3 or 4 of them together. I got a lot of that stuff, but and it's on a little 10-foot pruning saw pole. Just tie wraps on it real good. So it's going to be the 80-meter wire support for field day on the L inverted L
Okay.
on the DX commander pole.
80-meter inverted L.
Uh-huh. I did a scan. I put it up just first pass. And I did a scan. I don't know if I can show it. I don't have control, but I might be able to just show a picture of it.
With a VNA.
Oh, I'm in trouble here.
You scanned
It's
you scanned it with the Victor Network Analyzer.
it's a Rig Expert
Oh, okay.
AA30 thing.
Got you.
Yeah, but I've gone and I've got the scale on my screen out of whack on it, and I can't make it run right. Anyway, just the first blush, it was a little bit low on frequency, so I got enough wire. I can trim the wire back a little bit.
Yeah.
And I had my DX commander pole with a 20-meter, 40-meter, and 80-meter wire on it, and set it up out the front yard. It's one I'm going to bring Saturday. And I had 15, 20, 40, pretty much spot on, and 80 was usable with a tuner.
So what mode you gonna do,
Well,
Ken?
this is for sideband.
Okay.
I don't know that 80 really matters much for that, but whether we'll get anything much down there, but it'd be fun to set it up anyway. And I'm going to add a 10-meter wire on it. And so that'll give me 10, 15, 20, 40, and 80. But with the 80 would give me 30. We're not going to use 30 for field day.
Yeah.
But the 80 would give me a usable 30 if I was doing code. And
If it wasn't field day.
and I got 17 and 12 were within tuning range of an external tuner
Mm-hmm.
with 3 wires. And you know, and in fact 10 it was like a 3 to 1. So with an external tuner, that would definitely tune that. In a pinch, took about 20 minutes to set it up. In a pinch, it'd be a good useful antenna, just like it is.
On the inverted L, how high is the vertical part of it?
On it's about 26 feet, 28 feet.
That's pretty good.
So it tuned up. It looked really good. It was down in the sub 2 to 1 range, I think, on SWR.
So the
Yeah.
inverted L's on 80.
Pardon?
The inverted L's on 80 meters.
Sorry, I didn't quite catch that.
The
Something
inverted
on
L's
80.
on 80 meters. Is the inverted L on 80 meters?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah.
Get
Yeah, the
some
pole-
noise. Got some noise in the background.
Yeah, the pole will support a 40 wire with a little bit of holdover at the top and anything shorter directly. But the 80 meter wire is just a little bit long. Yeah. I don't have 70-foot tower or pole. But it looks like it's going to work. So I'm kind of happy to give that a try.
Yeah, that'll work. Inverted L works pretty good on low bands. You know,
So,
inverted L is basically a top-loaded vertical.
I'm still going to haven't put up a T. I want to put up a T and try that on 160.
That'll work. I built a T antenna, kind of a portable T antenna for 630 meters. Had put a loading coil on it that worked like a charm.
How much vertical did you have?
About 40 feet.
Really? Well, that would be doable.
Yes.
Well,
I think it was about 35 feet the vertical and 100 foot of top loading, 50 foot on each side.
I could do that. Okay. All right, this time we might get something. Except it moved everything around. All right, that's better.
You work on your antenna, Bill?
Yes, I did. Got the coax run through the pipe on Friday or Saturday, and was working on the mounting the rotor plate to the top section of the antenna.
Mm-hmm.
Ran across a small problem. That 1 5/8 piece of pipe they got at the top, a bushing, except a bushing implies precision, and it's far from precise because it's not 1 5/8. The mast I got was slightly under 1 5/8, and it won't go in there.
So that thing is smaller than 1 5/8?
It is. I called him down at, I called and talked to the engineer down at Universal, and he says, well, we're not really specifying that down to the, a few thousandths or anything. That's just a piece of tubing that we weld in there. What do you expect? I said, well, if you say it's 1 5/8, I expect it to be 1 5/8.
Yeah, so my mast will fit in it.
Right.
So what did he say to do about it?
He said, well, it's not going to fit, is it? And I said, well, how can I fix it? And he said, well, I'll tell you what we'll do. I'll send you a smaller piece of mast tubing for $65 plus shipping. And you can
why didn't he just send you a bigger bushing?
Well, it's welded into the tower. It's all welded together.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, is it made out of brass?
No, it's aluminum.
You remember ever honing out a wheel cylinder on a car?
Yep.
Where you could hone that thing out with a wheel cylinder hone into a drill and hone it out big enough that your tubing would do a snug fit.
Well, it's got quite a bit to come out. I thought about line boring it, but I'm going to wait and see how this tubing that he's sending me works.
Yeah.
And if it works, I'll probably do that. If not, I'll take it down to the shop and use a line boring tool on it. And I can line bore it, I think. I've line bored a lot of engine blocks, and this is quite a bit smaller, but
Yeah.
I think the line boring bore would go through there, and if it would,
How long is the bushing?
it's about probably 14 inches.
Oh, that's a lot bigger than I thought it would be.
Yeah, it's actually the members of the mast at the top come together and are welded to that piece
Yeah.
of tubing.
Yeah, I got you.
And I called it a bushing, but it's like I said, a bushing implies precision, and it's not.
Yeah.
It's not. And he just said,
So
Well,
did he tell you what the diameter of the tubing is that he's sending to you?
yeah, he gave me the dimensions on it. Got it here somewhere. Anyway, it was should have been an inch 625, and the mast I had to go in it was an inch 623, so it would have fit really nice, but it was
Yeah.
it measured like, when I measured with my calipers, I measured it like an inch 603,
Yeah.
and
A
I'm
little
not
bit too
sure.
small.
Yeah, quite a bit too small.
Yeah.
It wouldn't take a lot to, of if you could get something down in there to do it, but
So I guess that top section's 10 foot.
the mast, oh yeah, the top section is 10 foot. You're right. Including the tubing that,
Yeah.
sticks up a little bit, but overall it's 10 foot. You're right. So it's kind of 2 steps forward and 1 step back, or
Yeah.
1 step forward and 2 steps back. I'm not sure.
You'll get there.
Yeah, eventually. Well, I did plug in a little bit. I got rid of my rabbit ears and plugged in just a piece of hookup wire about 12 feet long, and was listening to some stations down in Chile and
Yeah.
West Coast, Oregon,
What, 20 meters?
15 and 20. I was copying stations on both.
Fantastic. Tells you your receiver's working anyway.
Yeah, it does. I just kind of doubled the wire over on the end and stuffed it in the coax connector and ran it across and hung it across the top of the door. And that did improve my receiving capability quite a bit over the rabbit
I'm
ears.
sure. I'm sure it did.
But yeah.
Yeah. Have you got the coax on the inside up to your transceiver?
No, I don't yet. I'm still wrestling a little bit with exactly what to do out there. I've got a ground stake driven out there and was planning on mounting the lightning arrestor directly to that ground stake, and then bringing the coax in from there into the house. And then I may still do it that way.
Sounds like a good way to do it.
Yeah, the copper bracket that I bought from DX Engineering is made in 2 halves, and you bolt it around the ground stake. It's made for that, and it's got places where you can, I think, put up to six lightning arresters on it if you wanted to. But
wow, yeah,
or it's got 6 holes in it anyway.
Mhm.
You could put several, 3 on each side, I think. I've been debating. I've got some more flexible coax. It's DX Engineering's more flexible version of a 400 series coax. It's not.
Yeah,
It's not the same brand. It's their brand, but it's got a stranded center conductor, and I was thinking about coming inside with that. So
yeah, that would work.
rather than bending around on that really
Mhm.
stiff.
Yep. I've got a roll of that stiff LMR 400. I'm going to try to pull it through my 3-inch PVC that goes out to the big tower,
Uh-huh.
so I can have another piece of coax out there. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it in there or not. That thing is pretty full.
Well, I tell you, it pulled really easy. I
Yeah.
was amazed at how
Yeah.
easy it pulled.
Yeah, but you don't have very much in your.
No, well, I
PVC.
didn't have anything in there, and all I was pulling was the rotor cable and the
Yeah.
and the coax, but it didn't take anything to pull it. I was a little bit concerned that it might be kind of sticky, but in
Yeah.
fact, it's kind of slick on the outside,
Yeah, it's pretty slick.
and it pulled through there like
Yeah.
no problem at all. And that was pulling it with a pretty good sized rope, but then I pulled that rope back through there with a string, so
Yeah.
that I've got as you suggested. So now I've got a rope in there if I want to pull another piece of
Yeah.
coax.
That's the way to
And
do
I've got plenty of room for another piece in that 2-inch, no sweat.
Little talcum or the liquid wire pull lubricant. Helps
I
when
bought
you-
a bottle of
help-
that and was
Yeah.
prepared to use it if I needed it, but
Yeah, but
didn't need it.
I wouldn't if I didn't, but we pulled a lot of cable with just using talcum, and that gets them pretty slippery between the cables.
Sure.
And while it's a little bit messy, it's not gooey.
Yeah, I've used the liquid before and pulling electrical, big wire, electrical wire. And
We used to pull a lot of signal cables, and they'd leave us a pull string most of the time, and occasionally we'd have to pull our own through. But the Phillips always shipped bottles of talcum with the cable loads. So,
I ordered some kind of cable pulling grease from Amazon. It should be here in a day or two. I'm going to use that, hoping I can get another piece of coax through there. There's 3 or 4 cables of LMR 600 going through there. And
oh, wow, that's
He's gonna do some here in a minute.
where's all that noise coming from?
Later, gents, it's dinner time, so I'll talk to you guys later.
all right.
Okay.
Take care, man.
Come back.
73s.
Come out
73.
for field day.
All right.
And then there's some RG 213, 2 or 3 of those going through there. That thing's about full, plus a rotor cable. So I'm hoping I can get another piece of LMR 400 through there.
and you said you had ordered some lubricant of some sort?
Yeah, it's about a quart bottle of, I don't remember the name of it. I ordered it off of Amazon. Should be here in a day or two. I'll show it next Tuesday.
Yeah, it's that I bought a quart of it at Lowe's.
Yeah.
They had it in stock.
But this cable that I'm pulling through it's pretty stiff. It's going to be hard to get around some of the corners.
Have you got big sweeps in the corners or?
Yeah, I do, but it's that pipe is full of cable already.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those cables that went around that corner are probably not going to be wanting to play.
Yeah, that's right. No telling.
Yeah.
No telling my pull through rope that I've got in there. It might be wrapped around some of them cables in there. I don't know.
That does happen a lot.
Yeah.
Might be worth. Can you blow a new line through there?
No, I don't think so. It's got too much cable under there.
Uh-huh.
But I can always try if I can't get it this way.
How long is the run?
It's not very far. It's maybe 40 feet,
That's
35,
good.
40 feet.
That's a good pull though, especially if you got curves in it, turns.
It's underground, so it's gotta go down, do a 90 and then go 35 feet or so and then go up, maybe 2 or 3 feet, then another 90 going into the side of the building. So you got two 90s right close together there.
That'll be
And
tough.
that will complicate it for sure.
And there's always the just knock another hole inside of your house, Ken. Then
I'm getting too many holes.
I was going to say it may fall down on you, but
Hello, John.
Hello, how you guys doing tonight?
Okay.
Good.
Hey, there's John.
How are you?
Mike's back too, maybe. Oops. There he is. He's back.
I'm back. It's my Wi-Fi. When it gets below 5 degrees, it's no good.
hey, you keep that, okay?
Yeah,
I will.
right?
I will. Mike, can you do FT8 while you Zoom?
Yeah. I got Zoom on this computer and FTX on the other computer.
All right. What band are you on?
I'm on 30 meters right now. You got
I'm on 30 meters.
I'm calling K06TX.
All right. Zoom. Boink.
I'm gonna see if I can see you, Mike.
Oh. 30 meters.
Yeah.
I see Uruguay and St. Croix both blasting in.
Well, I just finished K06TX. Got a confirmation. So I'm
Oh, I see KB5HXT there. That must be you.
yeah, it sure was.
All right, I just sent out a CQ.
There you are. No, that's somebody else.
Now I'm transmitting now, but I'm on. I need to up my power. Ooh. Oh, you know what? My antenna is not good on 30.
Oh, well, what? How about 40 or 20? 40 is probably better right now.
No, yeah, my SWR is above 3.
That's no good.
That K06TX is right on top of you, Mike. On your same frequency.
Yeah, we just talked.
Well,
So
he
he
he's
stayed
still
on it.
He didn't move.
That was his frequency.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was calling CQ on it, so he's all right.
Then, so maybe you need to move.
Well, 40 is full of contacts right now.
40 meters is so darn full, it's hard to work anybody.
Yeah.
Bill, you're gonna have to get set up so you can monitor some of that digital mode.
How much of a computer do you need for that? Is it,
You can use laptop. either Windows or a Mac.
Don't take much.
It's a free program, WSJTX. And
You on 40, Mike?
yeah, I'm on 40. You're muted, Mike. Unmute.
Anybody doing anything for Winter Field Day?
Hey, Mike, I'm calling CQ. I see your picture's gone, but hopefully you got audio.
All right, I can.
On Winter Field Day, there's a gathering at the firehouse.
Oh, yeah. No, I meant out in the field.
Well, that's kind of a field. It's an airfield.
Well, they have to be what, 30 feet out of the building?
Yeah, we're gonna be out of the building in trailers and vans
So you'll be indoor.
on generators.
You're still indoor though, right?
Technically,
Undercover.
if it's not an insulated, if it's an uninsulated van or trailer,
Okay.
it counts as outdoor. But if it's insulated and got an air conditioning system or heater system built in, then it's indoor. But
So if I got a heater inside my tent, does that count?
yeah, you're outdoors.
Depends who she is.
I'm copying Ukraine on 40 meters right now.
Who's that? Is that YV5?
No,
Who is the TI-2 VVV? You see him, Ken?
that YV is Venezuela, and there's a Trinidad station on there too, but the Ukraine station already zipped by where I can't see call sign.
Mike just threw his hands up. Somebody's coming back to me.
It's probably Mike.
I think.
My video.
Yeah. Mike Alpha Foxtrot.
Yeah, that's me.
Gotcha.
Way better than Ukraine, right? Or
Yeah. Unless you want a QSL card. Who's that?
what's wrong with my video? Keeps stopping.
Canary Islands is on too.
Who's that? Boom, boom, boom. So V31.
Hey, Mike. There's a station in Canada reporting my signal is -4
What did I get with?
up there north of you.
I sent the -8.
I sent you a -18. Thought.
You lost his video again. Ooh.
That's better than 50. All right, that was fun. I'm gonna stop FT8 and I'll just watch you guys, but my microphone and camera keeps switching on me, so I'll just hang out.
Okay. Are you using the same computer for FT8? Sometimes I get confused.
Yeah, Bill, that computer that you gave to John would probably work real good. Maybe he'll give it back to you.
No, no, I hope he gets on FT8 with it.
I'm just kidding.
No, I'm looking at it right here.
So it's working for you?
Yeah, I'm looking at 40 meters and looks like Australia's coming in.
Yeah.
Not 40 meters, 20 meters.
Okay.
Yeah, 14.
Yeah.
On FT8,
Yeah.
on that computer?
Yeah, I got it all hooked up.
Good, great. Glad it's working for you. I went through there and cleaned it up pretty good and
Oh yeah, it works great.
made sure all the latest version of Windows was on there and everything.
Yeah, no, it works better than a lot of things I got going around here.
I found an old laptop here in my office yesterday, and it was like one of the first, I don't know, remember when I bought the first IBM laptops, and opened it up and pushed the button and waited, and finally ate some lunch, came back, and it was actually booting up in XP.
Yeah.
And forgotten how slow. I don't know how I ever dealt with that son of a gun.
Well, remember the dial-up internet.
Well, that's true.
How slow was that thing? Man?
Oh my gosh. I'm surprised I ever shut this computer off. It took so long to boot up.
Right.
I had dial-up internet with a Commodore 64 on a BBS.
Yeah.
What was that thing? CompuServe? Was that remember there was a CompuServe where you could go in and it was like a big bulletin board and you could go in and find all this information, you know?
Yeah, or if you knew the phone number of a local BBS, you could call them for free. That's back when long distance was still a charge on your phone bill.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And so if you didn't have a toll-free number for a BBS, you used local. I did anyway.
Yeah. It was
CompuServe worked, but it was really a pain in the ass to use.
yeah.
Is that you, Mike?
Yeah, I think that was the other mic.
That's what I meant.
I'm going up.
He was simulating CompuServe.
Yeah.
That's what it sounded like.
Yeah.
I'm going moot for a minute.
Oh, that's a 40-meter band full of digital signals.
So is that what FT8 sounds like?
Well, that's a whole bunch of them together.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'm decoding every sequence when I decode on 40 meters right now. It's decoding 36 different stations.
Good.
I just went to 20 and it's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
it was around hold on.
It's probably decoding more than 36, but that's all it displays. I've got the display set up where it'll only display 36.
That was at 7:18 when Australia was coming in.
Oh, okay. Just 10 minutes for the band to die.
Yep.
That's 20 meters for you. So when 20 is dead, 40 opens. Or 40 is open, I should say.
Yeah. Speaking of which.
Got a question on hanging that inverted V from the tower.
Yep.
How much interaction is you think there would be between the inverted V and the hex beam?
Probably 0.
Really?
Yeah.
Do I need to put some kind of an arm off of the tower to get it away from the tower, or?
If you want to, you can.
But if you don't have to, I mean, you can
No, you can just,
use a piece
you
of
can-
rope.
you can put a piece of about a yard of rope on the center insulator over to the tower, and then pull the wires, the ends of the inverted V away from the tower, and that'll pull the antenna center of it away from the tower. Follow me?
Yep, I do.
You can do that.
Pointed
Or you
east.
can use a sidearm. Either way.
Pointed east and west, or
Run the wire north-south.
Yeah.
north-south? Okay.
Yeah.
Which would,
So-
the effective radiation would be east and west then.
Right. The way to look at that is draw a vertical line on the piece of paper and the top of the line's north. Then draw a figure 8 sideways on the paper. And that shows that you have radiation to the east and west. And there's a null to the north and the south. And that's why a rotatable dipole works. But it's kind of hard to rotate a 80-meter dipole. I did have a 40-meter rotatable full-length dipole, but I took it down about a month or so ago.
Did it have traps in it, or was it a full
No, it
length?
was full size, 66
Really?
foot long,
How long?
66 feet long piece of aluminum with a
Gosh,
gamma match. Yeah. Really worked good too.
I bet. What motivated you to take it down?
Well, it destroyed my rotor.
Oh,
I think there's a shear pin in there, and I think it sheared that pin off. So I'm getting ready to work on that rotor, and I had to take that antenna down to do it. I've still got a 10-meter beam on that rotor, but I can't rotate it.
Hmm.
I can if I want to climb the tower.
yeah, don't do that, Ken. I don't want to have to come visit you in the hospital.
I've been up that tower 100 times.
I know. You know, it's okay until it's not.
Yeah. The ground comes up awful quick.
I know. I've been there. I didn't fall off a tower. I didn't fall near that far and tore a shoulder all to pieces.
Yeah. How'd you hurt your shoulder?
I crawling through a fence and caught my toe on the top of the fence and
Mhm.
did a nosedive into the ground and stuck that right arm out in front of me and
Yeah.
ripped all the rotator cuff.
I
tendons
remember you
loose.
telling me that now.
Yeah. Ended up having to have an artificial joint put in, and
Yeah.
the arm's never been the same.
Yeah. But they'll tell you it is, but they lie.
Well, yeah. It's better than no arm at all.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
all.
Yeah. I know. I wanted to ask you, Bill, if you, when you worked at Seagate, did you know Bob Conley?
I know the name.
He worked in engineering down bottom floor on the east end over toward that front door over there. And of course, it's on the south side of the hallway. I
Hmm.
can't remember what his boss's name was, but he helped me on some programming on a first computer that I built, and it was just a basic computer where you had to program it with machine language, and I was doing machine language in hex, and Bob did machine language in different language, But that guy could convert from octal to hex in his head. It was amazing. I was having trouble getting it to display to the screen. And he was helping me program it, but he did everything in octal. And I didn't talk octal at all. So he would convert that stuff in his head and tell me we was conversing over the phone. And it was on a Saturday, so we was both at home. So he was converting that crap in his head and telling me what to put in there. And I finally got it. But that guy amazed me. He was unbelievable. I used to eat lunch with him down in his office, and when he ate an apple, there was nothing left. He ate the seeds and everything.
Huh. Yeah, I remember the name, but I can't tie a face to it, quite honestly.
One of my flight simulators, and when I was in Air Force a long time ago, was had octal register
Yeah,
on the main computer console. This was first generation solid state.
yeah,
To load a paper tape, you had to load the bootstrap in octal
yeah,
and punch it in
yeah.
byte
We
at a
did.
time.
But we did that when we was first designing floppy disk drive. You probably remember this, Bill. Do you remember a level 6 Honeywell computer? Do you remember what that looked like? It was about the size of a doorway, and you had to bootstrap it with a tape reader. And we tried to get, this is Charles Bussard and I was working. So we tried to get them firmware guys to fix that where we didn't have to do all of that. And we finally got that done. That was a real pain. You had to go to the firmware people to get any little change done. And it took forever to get something done. We finally just abandoned them. Oh, Bob Adams was that guy's name in the firmware group that was head of the firmware group. And we didn't seem to have very high priority because it took a long time to get a few changes made.
I don't remember Bob Adams. I do.
Oh, he left years ago. The firmware group was upstairs. You know where the engineering parts room was? It's upstairs on the west end on the north side. Great big picture window up there. The parts room's right next to it. And the firmware group was next to that, which is on the north side of the hallway.
I remember it always seemed like when we were trying to get a new drive to market, the firmware guys were always late.
Yeah.
They always made us late.
Well, guess we better talk radio instead of Seagate. These guys will get bored.
Yeah, nobody else.
You know, it's,
probably
I got to throw in when I came here in 91 to work at Xerox, we had that big Xerox plant, Seagate, AT&T, the tire plant. I mean, GM. This town has so much industry in it.
Yes. Yeah. Seagate had several buildings here.
Yeah.
Bill, how many buildings do you think that we had altogether?
Well, it depends on what year you're talking about.
Yeah. Well, say when it was at its peak, we had about 2,000 employees.
Yeah. Well, there were two though in Reno, weren't there? There was one right out, not too far from the Xerox plant out west, and there was another one down around Meridian, or
Reno and Meridian was Building 5, and the one that I worked at engineering was Reno and Morgan Road, which was not too far from the Xerox plant.
Well, if you go back a little further, there was one down on South Meridian, down by the airport.
Yes, that's right. That was Building 4.
Right.
And then there was one. Remember where the Western Electric plant used to be? there was one north of that. I don't know what street that was. That might have been building 3. And on Meridian, there was a warehouse.
Big warehouse.
Yeah, up there by that steakhouse.
When MPI switched over, was that acquired by Seagate? Magnetic peripherals?
Eventually it was, yeah.
Yeah, 'cause that was on 39th near Portland.
Yeah. Yeah, that was building 4.
Ah.
South Portland. South 44th, south of 59.
No, this one was up on North,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
on 39th Street
Yeah, that was another one.
in Portland. That's
Yeah.
where I worked a little
That-
while.
That place had a lot of names, Ken.
Yeah.
Yep, it did.
From the time that Bill started, it was GE. I started after Bill, it was Honeywell. But man, it had a lot of different changes. Some of them were pretty short too. And the magnetic peripherals was the funny one because when someone asks you where you worked, you tell them and they take a double take at you. They didn't know what you're talking about.
They built the Hawk and the Phoenix
Yeah.
10 and 80 meg drives that were in our CTs when I went to work for Philips.
Yeah, those were designs from Control Data, CDC that we picked up.
Okay, yeah,
Moved them
or
From,
monsters.
California to Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had about 2,000 employees there at one time and
We did 2,000 plus.
right here in Oklahoma City.
Yep.
Plus they had Minneapolis and a couple of places in California. And eventually one in Longmont, Colorado.
Yeah, Longmont's still there.
Yeah.
They built it's been several years back, but they built a brand new facility up there.
Yeah.
Really nice.
You go up there to it?
Oh, yeah, a lot.
Yeah.
Pain in the ass. You flew into the Denver airport and
Oh, yeah.
rented a car, and then you had a couple hours drive to get up to
Yeah.
Longmont.
Fighting the traffic.
Well, yeah, traffic and the weather and
Yeah.
all kinds of stuff. It was just a pain to go up there.
Yeah.
And they griped about having to come down here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was up there quite often. And Minneapolis and
Yeah.
Singapore and Thailand and
You got to go to Singapore,
oh yeah, got to,
huh?
had to.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was from the time I left my house until I got to the hotel in Singapore, it took 33 hours.
You're kidding.
Nope.
Wow.
Initial flight to Japan was 13 hours, 12 to 13 hours. And then you switched planes after a layover in Japan and it took another 7 hours to get down to Singapore.
Cry. God. Man,
Yeah, I hated it.
I don't think I could do that at my age now.
I couldn't either. Ken. No way I'd try that. Even back then, it took a lot out of me. It was,
Mhm.
I was exhausted when I got there, and
Yeah.
Jet lag for a couple of days, and then about the time you get ready to function normally, it's time to go home.
yeah, you're right. If you spent a week, you were pretty well switched over. And then you had to get on the plane and do that all over again. And
Did you
Made
know,
several
Larry?
runs to the UK and the Netherlands, and it was the same way, but not quite as bad. It still took.
Did you know Larry Wilcox?
Yep.
He went to Singapore. He told me how bad it was.
yeah, we probably knew a lot of people that each other knew. Just amazing, as long as we worked there, that we never did know each other.
Yeah.
I was up in that lab quite a bit when we were working on the original Ren 1.
Yeah,
Um,
that was a while back.
Yep. 30 megabyte.
Yeah.
How could you ever fill that up?
Well, it's a lot better than the first 30 megabyte drive I worked on, which is the size of a washing machine.
Yeah. Yeah, that one that it was a control data about the size of a portable dishwasher, 20 megabytes. That sucker, it had a actuator on it, as that when you put it in random seek mode, it would dance across the floor about like a portable dishwasher would.
Yeah. Well, I don't know whether we were making that when you first came or not, but the first one I worked on had a hydraulic actuator in it.
Yeah, I knew a guy that worked on one that was a technician on one. He said while he's working on it, he had to have a oil pan underneath it.
It
You can
it
zip it on the
shipped with a
floor.
little drip can under the pump.
God.
I swear. It had a hydraulic pump
Yeah,
that had a pretty good sized motor, that was belt drove the spindle and the hydraulic pump
yeah,
and the whole actuator. It was a direct copy, piece for piece, off of an IBM drive.
yeah. Was it control data?
That was GE.
Oh, GE. Okay.
Yeah.
I guess the Winchester actuator was the big thing back then.
Yeah, that was a 30 megabyte drive, the hydraulic drive.
Yeah.
But
Doesn't even sound possible. It almost sounds like steampunk. That's funny.
it had a pretty good seat time. You'd be amazed at how fast that hydraulic actuator could move that thing around. But what they did is they took they bought an IBM drive and took it apart piece by piece by piece and reverse engineered it.
Yeah.
And IBM had such a monopoly at the time that they were told that there is no way to work or any worry about IBM suing you.
Yep, I can understand that. And IBM did have a monopoly for a long time.
They did, yes, they did.
And
we built a lot of those drives, those hydraulic drives.
Yeah.
That was when I first came to work for GE. That's the drive they were building, was that hydraulic.
Well, a lot of the drives back then were them big old tape drives the size of a doorway.
Oh, we were building those too. We were building.
Yeah, I remember seeing them. I didn't work on them, but
building big card readers, punch card readers.
Yes, yeah. Building one had all them big tape drives and stuff in it.
Yeah. Yes.
That was the original GE place there on 39th and Tulsa.
Yep, it sure was. Yeah.
Building 2 was on 36th Street, but you could get to it by going out the back door of building 1 and through the gate, and then you get to building 2.
Yep. Yeah, made that trip across there a lot of times.
Yeah, me too. So where's Seagate? Do they still have anything happening in Oklahoma City?
Not that I know of, no. Customer service, or the people that answer the telephones.
Mm-hmm.
They had a phone bank here for a good while. That was the last thing. And I think that was moved somewhere. I'm not sure where, but I don't think there's any Seagate employees left in Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
at
Well, that
all.
was, those are good high-tech jobs that Oklahoma City let get away.
Yep. Oklahoma City was good at that.
Mhm.
They ran off General Motors and
Yeah. Instead of, you try to get new tech jobs, but first priority would be to keep the ones you got.
yep.
Yeah, I mean, lost Western Electric, AT&T, Xerox is down to, Xerox is there, but it's
Yeah.
20 employees instead of 500 when I
Yeah.
was there. And
Lucid Technology.
Now, Oklahoma City has never been very good at trying to keep businesses. They've actually run people off more than they've helped.
well, it wasn't just Oklahoma City. It was also the Oklahoma workers' comp laws have gotten better, but back then they were terrible back when in the 90s. And we fought it at Xerox all the time because it was just brutal on the companies, and could move anywhere and have better laws. And I was in safety, so I dealt with that all the time.
I just can't imagine our city leaders not being smart enough to know that you got to keep them high-tech jobs here.
Yeah, well, and I mean, Dayton Tire wasn't exactly a lot of high-tech jobs, but
Those are good paying jobs, though.
there were some good paying jobs,
Mhm.
With
Factory.
good benefits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the industrial base of Oklahoma City is just almost evaporated. So on that inverted V, do I need a ballon to match it, or just tie the coax on it?
Yeah, just tie the coax on it. You don't need a belt. See, it's going to be close to 50 ohms. When you droop the ends of the dipole down, the center impedance moves from about 70 ohms down toward 50 ohms.
Oh.
So when you have those ends down 45 degrees or so, you're approaching 50 ohms.
Okay.
So you don't need a belt. You're not going to have any RF come back that coax. You don't have to worry about that.
Well, this is John out in El Reno.
Hey, John, what's happening?
Well, I kludged together that antenna. I can't seem to get I couldn't get any reception on it. I trimmed it down to a 6 meter length.
Probably nobody on 6.
4 feet, yeah.
Yeah, it can be
I've
pretty
been
quiet.
studying for my general all day. Yeah. It could be my radio or my antenna or something.
Did you have it at 10 meters to start with?
Well, I tried to listen in on 10 meters and I couldn't get anything there.
Was it a 10-meter antenna?
Right. I started that way and then trimmed it down to a 6 meter.
Well,
And
you probably hear more on 10 than you will 6. And sometimes 10 meters is not open. That don't mean anything there's anything wrong with your radio.
6 and 10 tend to be much quieter than 20, 15, 20. But
yeah.
If you want to get some good listening, just cut a couple of 16.5-foot lengths of wire, and that'll put you in the 20-meter band. And it's busy most all day long, but it gets quiet in the evening. Like right now, if you went up there, there's not a lot going on.
You could copy 20-meter stuff and 15 with the 10-meter antenna.
so how long did you say to cut those wires?
About 16.5 feet. Actually divide 234 by 14.175. Here, I'll do that.
Okay.
I got a calculator right here.
Well, 16.5 feet is, I can remember that. I've got that written down.
4 divided by
You need 2 of them.
14.175, which you're right in the middle of the 20-meter band. That's 16.5 feet.
You need two of them, John.
16.51. So that'll be close. And if you make it, if you do, whenever you do one, always cut it a couple inches longer, maybe 4 or 5 inches longer. And when you get to doing your tuning, you can just fold that end back over it and make it the right length. And you got a little bit of wiggle room to tune if things change.
You don't have to worry about that for receive only though, John.
Yeah, but for receive, it's no problem. But when you get ready to transmit on the band, like on 20 meter, when you get your general, then you start to tune it. But on the 6 meter one, you could do that as well. But you may surprise yourself on 6 and just call CQ, even if it's real quiet. And somebody might come back to you. But,
On upper sideband, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
So I'll give it another shot tomorrow. I might just go ahead and go to the 16.5 just so I can listen. I've been studying for my general exam all day and took a couple of practice tests. Boy, that was a humbling experience.
Well, you just keep on chipping at it though.
Yeah, I got like 50% the first time, then I did some study and got up to 65% on the next one. So.
If you consistently get over 74, you're capable of passing it, so you're not far off.
Yeah, I'd feel comfortable if I was over 74. Maybe my goal would be to get up to 80 or 85. So.
Well, yeah, you'd probably want to be there, but if you're consistently above that, you're running a pretty good chance of getting it. But having one of our other friend, another member of the club that wanted it to do it, he wanted to be perfect every time. And he just kept putting it off because he couldn't get 100 every time, and it was like, come on, you don't need that.
Well, I think we all have that desire, but I want to get on the radio.
Well, yeah, I mean, you got plenty of time to learn the ones that you missed later. But he's kind of a perfectionist. It was a challenge to get him to go test. And when he did, he went in and went straight to general when he did. But anyway.
I refer to myself as an obsessive compulsive person trapped in the body of a slob. So I tend to go both ways. It just depends on the project. But yeah, I'm real eager to get my general and start touching base with people.
It opens up so much more, virtually everything. It opens up virtually everything. The only thing you miss is just a few little slices of the bands as extra, and extra doesn't buy you much more activity. Virtually
more I find out about this FT991 that I bought. I don't think it's that great of a like a 10 meter radio, HF radio. So,
well,
I'll keep fooling with the antenna and see if I can get it better.
Okay, Mike.
Bye. Are you leaving us? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna get on the Aries net. And after that, supper will be ready.
There you go.
Well, thanks for listening to me, guys. I'll keep you posted on the progress.
Well, yeah, just don't give up. Don't give up. You're close. You're close as it is. But if you have any questions or you want to discuss or ask anything about some of those subjects, then feel free. Please.
Don, I'll give you an example on the 10 meters evening, the 10 meter net in the evenings. They'll have one tomorrow. I can't usually hear anyone. I can hear Denny sometimes. He's down in Slaughterville. I'm in Southeast Oklahoma City, but I can't hear anybody else. I can hear Denny, but I can't understand him. I just know he's there. So, 10 meters at night right now is not reliable, and even in the daytime, sometimes it doesn't pick up. So you on 6 and 10, basically, it's gonna be hit and miss, I guess, would be the best thing for me to say. With that, I'll bid y'all 7-3.
Okay, Mike, we'll see you.
Take care, Mike.
John- John, when was you listening to 10? Was it daytime or nighttime?
Mostly nighttime.
So 10 meters is pretty much dead after dark. You got to listen to 10 meters
Okay.
in the daytime.
Copy that. Yeah, I'm looking at my ARRL chart here. It looks like it's got a little slice of it from 28.3 to 28.5 for technician class, and that's SSB. Is that for a sideband?
Yes. Single
Oh, I
sideband.
I could actually transmit on that.
Yep.
That's right. That's right. That's why we suggest you to build an antenna for 10 meters. And with the 10-meter antenna, you can still listen to 20 meters with the 10-meter antenna.
And 6.
And 6, yeah.
Well,
And
it cut for 10 meters. I just like you said, I just folded it over and shortened it for the 6 meter.
Yeah.
Well,
You twist those wires you cut off back on it.
Just
Make
make a
it 10
knot.
again.
Yeah.
I think he said he folded it over. He didn't cut it.
Well, you probably cut a few more. What you can do is just add cut 2 more 10-meter wires, leave the 6 on there, and then separate them at the end of the 6, separate it from the 10 wire and make a fan dipole, and you can run both bands.
Yeah.
I kind of got a real narrow slot where I can bring the, excuse me, I got the hiccups, where I can bring the V down, a real narrow slot in between my garage and my house. So I could probably, go like 45 degrees on the side for 10-meter wires. But I have a problem securing those things. I'd end up in my neighbor's yard and in the middle of my yard. So.
You may ultimately need to go to a vertical.
Right.
That
What
doesn't
kind
take
of-
up much space at all.
What kind of antenna would you recommend? And that's multi-band too, right?
You can be. The DX Commander is it's a multi-band vertical fan vertical, which is a simple concept and relatively inexpensive. We'll have one set up at the firehouse this weekend, or a version of one. It'll be a multi-band vertical.
I plan on driving down. What's a good time to show up for somebody that just wants to watch?
Well, no, come in and, you can operate under one of our other licenses, and you can operate in HF.
Oh, okay. Well, that'd be fun.
So you can actually get on the radio and talk to somebody in a contest like that. The exchange is very minimal. You just basically identify each other and exchange a couple of data points and sign off and log it and go on and do another one. And you don't get
So that's
caught up
9 o'clock at the.
Pardon?
That's 9 o'clock. That's 9 o'clock at the fire station, right?
Yeah, we'll start setting up at 9 o'clock. We'll start broadcasting at 1 o'clock.
Oh, okay.
The idea is we have to go in, if we want to declare it as anything other than a home station, you have to set it up starting at 9 o'clock. So we'll throw up the antennas and hook up the radios.
And there's
Yeah.
time for coffee in there too, John.
Oh yeah. So it's not too frantic. It's just, but we'll get 3 different systems going. There'll be a digital, and there'll be a CW, and there'll be a phone, USB, LS, lower sideband, upper sideband, phone setup. And Mark was saying that we've got a Kenwood 590 sitting around that we might set up for phone.
Yeah,
That would
that's
be fun.
that's a good one to check out.
Yeah, the
John.
7300s overload pretty easy. We had a lot of trouble last year with interfering with each other, or last summer.
How do you keep from interfering with each other, Ken? Is your antennas pretty far apart? Are
As
you
far- well,
coordinated as to,
They're supposed to be
people-
as far apart as we can get them.
yeah,
but
but is
what happened?
two people operating on the same band or?
Well, different parts of the band, because
Yeah.
CW and phone are,
Yeah.
the different parts of the band. Normally, what we've done in the past is set up two dipoles at 90 degrees to each other.
Yep,
They still interfere, but it's less so.
yeah,
And a vertical, which is a different polarity. So
Yeah.
between the polarization and the distance. But what happened last time is Galen's van showed up and we were going to operate out of it. And I set up the vertical, and then Mark set up they pulled a fan dipole right off the van. And we were so close together that every time he keyed up to call CQ or answer anybody on digital, it just killed us. We didn't,
Yeah.
we couldn't function on the same band.
too
So
close
this-
together anyway.
This time they're putting the van on one side of the building and a trailer for the phone on the other side of the building. And then CW is going to be back out by the fire tower, the training
That's good.
tower.
Them separated a little bit better, but
Yeah, we'll have a little better separation. So hopefully out of the near field. But anyway, but John, you could build a fishing pole antenna with 20, 15, 10 for almost no money at all, about $40. The poles used to be $20 for those fishing poles. Now they're up to about, I think I paid 35 to get my last one in, but that's still not very much money. And you can always go fishing with it if you have to.
We ended up, like you suggested, buying a cheap cutting board at Walmart to mount everything on for my.
Yep.
The one I got up. I think I can get a picture up here and show you if you want. Yeah, well,
Yeah.
it's bigger than that, but.
Well, but that's all I need.
Right.
And then I just bungee cord the thing to the pole. And I can put it anywhere I want. If I want to set it up high and do a dipole, if I want to put it down low and do a vertical.
Yeah, I used a couple of U-bolts and I got that cost like $5 to do that.
Well, those are good on a aluminum pole or pipe. And that's a good way to do it. On a fiberglass pole, that might be a little bit strong. You ought to be careful not to crush the pole.
Yeah, I got it up about 15 feet off the ground. And then
About right. There's a lot of 20 meters nominal ideal height would be 30 feet, but there's a lot of them running on 20 feet. And you get a little bit of a benefit with the tuning. You're gonna get your 50 ohm match easier if it's down a little lower or tilted down like Ken was saying earlier. So, but
quite a few people at the fire station.
yeah,
Yeah, it's picked up.
hopefully we're looking at everything peaking and getting back to briefly, at least, to some kind of normal.
Normal is what's normal now.
Sam, did you have in your possession your new venture paddle?
Yeah, it's right over here on the shelf.
Hold it up so everybody can see
I
what.
wish I could show you I took this old bookcase I had here, slanted the shelves on it and added some quarter round along the front
Mm-hmm.
so that I can have all my,
Yeah,
it needs a good shining, but
yeah, that's pretty good, man. That's a nice one.
yeah, it's the chrome is kind of tarnished, I guess is the word, but seems to function well. So,
That's a mechanical key.
well, it's
The paddle
it's an iambic paddle. So
dips
Is that like a
one way,
vibraplex?
it makes the dits and the dies for you.
Is
Dip
it like a
one-
vibraplex?
Well, vibraplex is a broad term. I've got one,
It's a
two, three, four,
Vibraplex
five,
is a brand name.
6 vibroplexes up there, but now these have to feed them through a mechanical keyer, or I mean an electronic keyer, and basically, if I can do this, if you can see this, but if you go one direction, it gets you dits, the other paddle gets you dies. Now,
But it
see the
goes
one
through-
in the background of my picture there is a single paddle iambic. If you go one direction, you get dits, and you go the other direction, you get dies. But again, it's being done by the radio, actually, in my case.
The keyer in the radio.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, see the
Gotcha.
here behind me, it's dits and dies, versus a straight key where you have to control how long you hold the button down to get a dit or a die.
Right.
So these are just going back and forth. And
Yeah, there's a straight key that Ken's holding up.
Look at J38.
Yeah, typical
Yep.
military J38.
Yep.
World War II.
Yeah, those things were very available surplus
Yeah,
Yeah, they were.
for a long time.
It's a great little key.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with it.
now they're on eBay and they call them vintage, and they're $100
no
Yeah.
Oh,
kidding.
really? $100?
up
I've
to,
got-
yeah.
I've got.
I mean, every so
a couple of
often you'll see one for 50, but considering they made 20 million of those during World War II for a quarter a piece, it's
Yeah.
amazing.
them. I don't know.
I think I paid like $2 or $2.50 for my first one.
I got this little thing the other day. It's got, you recognize that, guys? Yeah, if you can see it.
Well, it's got to come into view.
See it's got a leg
A leg strap. Yeah,
strap
leg
on it.
mounted.
For a key, yeah.
Oh, this one's got a little key on it.
Yep, that looks like a 38, isn't it? Or is it?
37 on this one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and this one actually came with the military. Yeah, there's a venture. Yeah, this one actually came with the military pouch that goes on your rucksack or whatever. And yeah, there Ken's got a venture.
I call him CQ. Can you hear it?
But yeah, I have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 vibroplexes, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 other keys, 15 other keys of various shapes and sizes. But
So do you spend most of your time on air on CW?
no, I can't even, I can't do it.
We
I can
need to-
send, I send really well, but
We need to start working on that again.
yeah, we do. I keep thinking that, but
I keep getting close, but
I
if I get
just can't,
somebody,
I just
J38.
cannot get past, like, if I miss a letter, I cannot get past like stopping and trying to figure out that letter. In
Yeah.
the meantime, 6 more letters are being sent, it's,
then you feel like you're lost. But
yeah. And then it's just done, it's,
that little QCX does a real good job. If somebody's got a real steady hand or keyer, it does a real good job of decoding a lot of it. So if you got something like that, you got a little bit of a crutch to keep you going. But the problem is, if you're listening to it and trying to follow the text, there's just enough lag that it throws you off.
mm,
So if it was fast enough and it came up as you heard it, it would reinforce it a lot more. But consequently, it hadn't really worked out yet. But
Is that a function of the computer that's doing the decoding or?
well, it's all built in. It's got an Arduino 328 chip for a computer that does everything in it, and it does the tuning. It calls the frequency for the radio for the It's a single band transceiver, CW only, QRP labs.
The kit.
But in the midst of all of that stuff
That's
it
that
does,
kit you built, right? Ken?
yeah, it's a kit that
Yeah.
I built. You can buy it built. You can have them assemble it, but it does an incredible job of decoding somebody who's steady. But if it's
Or somebody that's sending with the computer.
yeah, or computer, but like decoding the ARRL on what's it on?
It's on a bunch of bands, but it's machine sent.
70475, whatever, every night. It'll decode that pretty good, but that's
Machine sent,
computer-generated,
yeah.
perfect. But if you get out there with a sloppy fist on a straight key, it's not much help.
The other thing that you got to remember when you're doing CW, the other guy is listening to how fast you go, and they're supposed to match your speed.
That's a
And
laugh.
They sure don't.
I tend to be able to send faster than I can receive. So they think I can send at 18, but I can't receive at 18. I receive maybe at 8. Well, but
you need
I don't know.
You just go very slow when you go calling for somebody, and hopefully find someone who will come back but I hear some guy at 8 or 10, and then the guy will come back at him at 20. And it's kind of like, there ought to be a Q code for,
There is.
quit
QRS.
showing off.
QRS.
Yeah.
It says
I
slow
know.
down.
QRS.
But I mean, I even, I just keep, like, when I'm driving around in my truck and I've got 2 meter on and I'm scanning all the local repeaters, they'll all identify themselves in Morse. And I try to not look at the screen on my radio and figure out which repeater is that, Edmund, or is that Scars, or, who is that? Listen to the call sign. But anyway, it's, I'm going to do it someday, but you know what? I've also decided that I'm going to have a lot of time, when I get really old, or if I fall and break a leg, or, something like that, I'm going to have a lot of time to play with CW. Right now we're camping, and I'm got a lot of stuff going on, gardens and stuff like that. That's kind of takes, it doesn't take away, but it just, to me, it's more important while I can do it,
Once you got camp set up, you could be doing a little bit of, throw up a quick antenna and.
Well, I've got the HF in my truck, and
that's true.
Typically when we go camping, when we get up in the morning, we either do breakfast, or my wife does yoga and then we do breakfast. And while she's doing yoga, I do ham. So I get in the truck and get on the rig while she does her yoga, but after that, we're hiking and doing stuff. We're not very often sitting around.
Hey, I went on YouTube and did a search on wildlife photography, Sam.
Yeah.
And there was some really good wildlife photography going on in Yellowstone. You ought to look at that, man. And there was one guy doing wildlife photography in the wintertime in Yellowstone, and that was really interesting.
I'll bet it's incredible. The problem when we were there was it was June, and I joke, and I mean, if there was a buffalo out in the field, there were 10,000 people trying to park on the side of the road to look at it. I mean,
like they had never seen a buffalo before.
Well, maybe they haven't. We're in Oklahoma. We got a lot of buffalo all over, but it was crazy. I mean, it was just too many people.
If you go west on I-40, you might see a couple of camels.
Think so.
There's a field out there where I saw a couple out by between Eric and Elk City.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And
I
you've
nearly
been
ran- I nearly
smoking,
ran
you've
off
been
the road,
smoking
you
what?
know. What was that?
Well, whenever you go up through the panhandle of Texas and into New Mexico and Colorado, if you keep your eyes open, you'll see a lot of antelope out there.
Yeah, it's there's actually, if you go up north of Pawhuska, there's a grasslands up there, and there's a buffalo herd up there. They're
Yeah.
just magnificent. We go up there a couple, 3 times a year just on
Yeah,
day trips, and
I've been there several times. It's a neat
It's,
place.
yeah, it really is. And just, I don't know, you know, it's basically a natural grasslands, and you know what you're looking at up there is what the pioneers and the Indians saw here. I mean, it's native grasses and then the buffalo, and you just think, you know, this is what the people, the Native Americans and the pioneers that came through, this is what they saw. You know, it's
One
pretty
time when
awesome.
I was up there, Sam, there was a German film crew filming the buffalo.
Hmm.
And I was standing there next to them, and they were speaking in German to each other. I didn't know what they were saying, but they were really excited about photographing them buffalo. You know,
Yeah.
it was a movie
Right.
theme, not still photography, video.
Well, yeah, we enjoy going up there. It's really a nice day trip, and drive up there and have lunch, drive up through the grasslands and stuff. So, but anyway, get what radio in I can, squeeze it in here and there.
Yeah.
And I just keep changing my ham shack. I just can't quite get it the way I want it. A while ago, I don't know if you all noticed I was here, but I was totally rewiring my antenna switches here and moving them around and trying to.
Well, it takes a while to get it like you want it.
Yeah. It's I've got this old desk. This was an old gosh, cheap desk we bought my son when he was living here, and I've kind of adopted it as my ham shack. And so
Yeah, you can take an old computer desk or something, and modify it to fit what you need, and beef it up and come out with a pretty good setup.
yep. Yeah, that's what this is, an old computer desk. It's still
Yeah.
got a lot of his stuff in it and on it, and trophies on the top. But I haven't gotten permission to get rid of those. So anyway, it's but I like voice. I mean, I you know, I done a little FT8 and stuff, but I really like conversations. You know, I like chatting with people.
I used to, but past several years I've been doing digital mode.
Yeah. Well, you've been around a lot longer too. You know, it's you know, talk about antennas. I mean, my truck, I use ham sticks.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've got a 10, a 20, and a 40.
Yep.
And I can switch. I got them on quick disconnect, so I can switch them out pretty quick.
Mhm.
Be amazed how quick I can pull over and swap. You know, of course, the other thing sometimes I have to go through McDonald's drive-through. I hop out and I disconnect the whip and throw it on top of the truck and go through the drive-through and then put it back on. So I'm pretty good at that.
As long as you don't forget.
Yeah. Well, I put a spring on it, but I still don't want to spring it too often. So not good on the little wire whip on the end of those ham sticks. But
only thing I have in my truck is a 2-meter setup.
I've got a ICOM 7100, and I really like that radio in a lot of ways. But it's a good 2-meter. I've got 2-meter, 70 centimeter, and I've also got D-Star.
Yeah, it's pretty cool little radio.
Yeah.
I'd be real tempted if I was going to have another radio, but I'd be probably looking pretty seriously at that.
Well, compare that on the HF side to my 7300 sitting here in the ham shack. You don't have the filters, you don't have the,
Yeah,
all the buttons and whistles that you got.
it's
I made a
simpler-
lot of contacts with that son of a gun on a ham stick.
It's a more basic radio in some ways, but it's still just a pretty impressive little piece of work.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that all they really got to do to go crazy on that would be to put a modern full color screen on it. And it would be kind of wild.
The other thing I'm looking at is I want to put a GPS on it, and especially for the D-Star, I'd like to have a GPS on it, but haven't quite figured out.
Uh-oh. Sorry.
It's not like ICOM has well, they do have a GPS, but it's like $800 or something. But it'd be really nice if there was just some real plug and play easy thing to do. So I found one on Amazon, and of course it's out of stock. Some guy makes for that, but it's like not bad, $50 or something. And, there are so many ways to go in this hobby. I don't think you can ever run out. So getting, yeah.
Maximum volume.
Okay.
So Mike, you were talking about 5 degrees. Is that in the day or in the evening or all the time?
It's 6 now.
Oh,
But-
wow. Heat
Warm
wave.
it up.
So the
Heat
Wi-Fi
wave.
should be good for another degree.
Wow.
Man, couldn't handle it.
It's
Where are you
just
located, Mike?
Grayling, Crawford County. 100 miles south of the Mackinac Straits. 200 miles north of Detroit,
Is that Michigan?
right here.
Oh, well.
Yeah, the older I
Wow.
get,
Go ahead, Sam.
the older I get, the more I like the South. You know.
Yep. I hear summer in Ecuador all year round. If you're not in the mountains.
I don't know. I have no interest in going any further south, really. I do like having some seasons and stuff, but
We get samples of it.
Yeah.
We have a winter sample for a few days or a week.
That's
then we
long
get a break.
enough.
And then we get a break.
I'm pretty
We're
happy
getting
with
lucky.
Oklahoma weather.
Yeah.
overall.
If we just do a little less hail and tornado would be better.
Yeah. Yeah, I watched the temperature down at Durant, Oklahoma. It's always warmer down there than it is here.
Mhm.
I'm thinking not too far from Lake Texoma,
Mhm.
your electric bill would be a little bit cheaper.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really amazing. I mean, my in-laws were from Wichita and we're here, and I've got a sister-in-law down in Denton. And it's really, it doesn't seem like that far, but it's amazing the difference in on any given day, the temperature and
Yeah,
snowfall and that kind of stuff. So
You keep going out, you're going that way, you're going down in elevation.
yeah.
We're 1,300 feet or so, and they're probably down 500 or 600 feet, 800 feet.
Closer to the equator.
2 more minutes of sunlight a day.
Yeah.
We're at the 45th parallel, halfway between the equator and the North Pole.
Well, you probably get to see some aurora there though, don't you?
Rarely. rarely.
Huh.
You have to go outdoors to see that.
Well, yeah. Okay. All right. Doesn't happen. You don't want it happening in the house.
No, that's not
That
a
would
good
be
thing.
bad.
So,
Well, there was just recently a big corona burst. It should have.
it might be. And actually today, there's a really cold, dry temperature mass between us and Hudson Bay. So there's probably conditions are good for it, along with that, 53 sunspots and all that activity. So could be. I haven't logged. There's a website you can log in for aurora predictions, which I haven't looked at lately though.
Well, Dr. T was talking about today or yesterday, I guess it was actually about several potential solar fast wind bursts coming at us, a couple of behind each other. One about now, maybe now, and then another one in a day or two. That might be enough to kick off some aurora.
Well, 12 meters was open some today. It kind of, it opens a few days and then it's closed, but today it was back open for, it's been closed 2 or 3 days, and it was, had some activity on it today. I'm gonna have to get out of here, guys. I've got to go put the dog in. It's getting down to cold enough outside. I need to do
Yeah,
that.
it's 28 up here in Piedmont, so you're
Yes.
probably 29 down there.
It's 31 here.
Oh, wow.
So I'll talk to you guys later.
All right. Take care, Ken.
7-3.
Bye now.
I'm gonna sign off too, guys. Been a pleasure.
Yeah, always is.
Next week, hopefully.
Next week.
One way or the other. I'll either wave at you from the firehouse or be on
Well,
here.
I don't know. I may, this is nice. As long as it's cold out.
I really kind of like both, and
I do. I like them both.
They're doing. Sometimes I go down there and I'm like, why did I come down here? Because they're not doing anything that I'm really wanting to watch. And other times I'm really glad I went. So
Yeah, you never know. You need to bring something interesting.
yeah,
That way there's something happening.
yeah. It looked like they were doing some antenna work a while ago. And anyway, I'm going to get out of here too, guys. So,
I'll see y'all next week.
all righty. Take care, Mike, Ken.
Guys. Well. Well, Earl, I guess it's just you and me.
Oh, sucks to be you. No, I'm just fooling around. Now I'm right in the middle of trying to get a new monitor stand up and running. Trying to get the monitors up a little bit higher so I can have some more workspace here on the bench.
Oh, I got a shop out back that I've got to just get my junk out of it and make a workspace back there and a shack. I'm in the garage right now and I'm about ready to get the garage back to the car.
Well, I got really lucky that this mount actually fits without having to go through a lot of effort. Oh, it's 2 different sets of monitor arms. And I'll probably have to take the back off of this one monitor on the weekend, but not tonight. We need to use this monitor tonight. And if I'm lucky, I might have enough room with both sets of monitor arms to be able to get a 3rd monitor in here. We'll see. And free up a lot of space. Oh, there, that's much better. Much better. Look at that. Okay. Starting to look like an Enron trading desk in here. Okay, now
That's
there's
kind of hard to tell, but
Okay, here's the other one.
The nice part about moving my shack down to the shop is I'll just roll it down there because it's all on a roll around cart.
Oh, I like that.
And I've got a pair of monitors on it that that makes for pretty good. I can run a separate FT8 or digital or whatever on either radio on a separate computer with its
Right
own
on.
monitor. So
Yeah,
and the
I think
laptop.
I think I'm changing my mind. I think I'm gonna put one over and one under. Just run it that way.
I would get, my neck would hurt from looking up. In fact, these are a little too high. I've got large wheels on this cart. They're about 8 inches tall.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about dropping it down to just about 4 inches with some lower, smaller casters. And that would get the monitor height just perfect.
Well, wifey says that when we get into the new house, sometime this year, I can have a workshop. So there's gonna be a shack built out of that. Just a matter of time. Now I'm watching this video up here. Is that the fire station?
That's the fire station.
It's been a long time. Some of the faces look familiar and some of them don't.
Yeah, well, there's always new people wandering in and out.
How about young people? We got young people joining the club?
Young and a relative. We don't have many kids really at this point, but there are some 40-somethings and maybe a couple of younger, a little bit younger, but a generation behind me anyway, or two.
Yeah. I'm a little concerned about that. I need to know that we got more young people coming in.
Yeah, we need more. I also do model railroading, and we've gotten quite a few in our model railroad club,
Right on.
and that's encouraging.
Well, I don't know what the young people are doing these days. I know that one of my sons likes to walk around a lot, and the other one likes to do Linux things.
Ah, cool.
Which is helpful to me. I'll be a little selfish on that. I used his help to get me back up to speed on it. It's been over 20 years since I got involved in Linux, and it took me about a week to spin back up with his help.
I bounce back and forth between them. I've got about 50-50.
About 50-50.
Yeah.
So tell me, what's your latest project? What you been working on?
For me?
Yeah.
This week I've been working on antenna for the field day. And it's a vertical fiberglass 32-foot pole with it'll be four vertical wire, a vertical fan antenna, basically like a fan dipole, only vertical. PX Commander type. Although this is a knockoff, I don't have all of the official parts, so I'm. But we're going to try to set it up with a 10, 20, 40, 80 meter wires on it. So.
Well, I'll be checking that out because I don't even know what kind of antenna that is.
It's. I think it'll be fun. It looks like it's going to tune up okay. I put it up with 3 wires without the 10 in the front yard, and the very first setting I had, I was good on 40, 20, and 15.
Yeah.
And 80 was workable with a tuner. A little bit low in frequency. I just have to shorten that lead a little bit, that wire a little bit, and I'll be pretty much on frequency for it. So we'll see. And 30 would work, but we're not going to use it for the contest. But
I'm going to admit something, and maybe some of the folks here in the club might hear that. I actually like building up the systems more than operating them.
I do too.
I don't mind doing net control for my friends like I did in the past, but no, I don't do a lot of net control on the radio here with this club, and I haven't done net control in a long time. I don't mind that kind of thing, but my joy comes from trying to figure out how to make these systems work.
One of my early thankfully that wasn't a delicate part that I just dropped. One of my early projects was I decided I wanted to learn CW, and I needed a tone oscillator, code oscillator. And so I built up an Arduino base, and it's a work in progress.
Sure.
But it's a nano, and originally I had no way to manually change the pitch, the side tone or the speed without going into the sketch and changing it. So I'm adding a couple of pots to set those in.
Oh, right on.
And then and it'll be set where I can plug in a key, and it'll just function as a key tone, a practice oscillator for a key or a paddle, and it will function as a I'm having a senior moment, as a keyer, a simple keyer. I don't have iambic programmed yet. I'm going to work on that next.
Okay.
But anyway, so it's fun because I'm having to play with the C plus on subset of C plus on the Arduino.
Okay.
And so I'm having fun with it. And I'm transferring it all to a fully soldered circuit board from a breadboard setting.
Oh yeah.
So, it's a neat little project.
That's the fun stuff right there. Yeah. When you're taking it past the dev and you're making it into a real board, that's something I got to learn.
This one's kind of a perf board. It's a project board, and but it'll work. I'm having to put some jumpers on because it's just a series of 10th of an inch holes all over it. Some of them are interconnected in groups of three. So anyway, I enjoy doing that kind of thing.
I think what's going to happen on this system I'm working on right now, so I'll try a couple of different configurations. I've got a cheapy little machine that I built over here with Ubuntu on it, and a couple of little laptops. I'll figure out something, just El Cheapo stuff, and I don't know, maybe I might get 2 laptops up and running. That would probably do the trick right there. Run one off of the one machine and run the other one off this other machine over here. That probably would be the best use of the resources we have here. Because I kind of have one sitting here as a backup that I hardly ever use. Now we'll figure something out. Are you just an Arduino guy? Do you do anything with the Raspberry Pis?
I have 2 of them, but I haven't really gotten into any output on them. I load them up and operate the Raspberry desktop and verify that it works, and then I get wander off on something else. I'm actually thinking about putting. I have a little Lenovo Mini up here on my radio right now, and I had another that I took in the house, and I'm thinking about replacing the one I took in the house with my 3P for FT8 and digital. But
well, I wish I had the camera up and running. In this mess, I haven't got a clue what I did with the camera. I got to go find it and get it put back in place. I used to run little training videos out of here for people on Facebook a long time ago. How to do different things, everything from soldering to how to build wire antennas and radio operations, all that kind of stuff. And I started veering into the direction of trying to figure out how does propagation work? And I started off trying to learn the math of that. And I got through the trigonometry part just fine and worked up a little model using Excel. However, whenever you ask somebody, hey, how does that propagation stuff work? And what's the answer you think you hear most often?
Me?
Yeah,
How does it work?
yeah.
You know,
What do you think is the answer you hear most often?
What's the physics? Skip?
Most of the time they say it's complicated.
Well, there's that. You're right. And it is. It is.
It is. Holy cow.
But
I never knew.
When you think about the varying densities, the electrical characteristics, ion distribution, blah blah. I mean, yeah,
it's crazy. It is crazy.
Yeah.
And I went out and I found some articles from some research website from the 1930s, and they were heavy in integral calculus, and I haven't had integral calculus in a great many years. So I didn't understand what they were saying. So I started learning the math. And lo and behold, come to discover that the study of mathematics was something that I did not know I would absolutely love, just love. And so since February of what year is this? 2021. I've been taking an AP calculus course online, just a high school calculus class. And I gotta tell you, I really, really enjoy this. And when the time comes when I can understand what they're saying in these 1930s radio engineering papers, then I'll be satisfied, But who knew it would take me 50 years to discover a love of mathematics?
Well, I always probably my largest hobby is finding informational YouTube posts, I guess, that explain things, how things work, how to build things, how things, and it varies from something as simple as a wooden box to Cosworth racing motors or something, and electronics and everything in between. But, I've been fortunate to work in interesting fields. Many years in medical X-ray on the equipment itself, ranging from simple basic portables to linear accelerators. And
right on.
so it's been fun. It has. I've been retired now 4 years.
Okay.
But I was blessed to do something that I didn't dread going to work every day over, that I always enjoyed the challenge of it. So when I got to that point that I retired, I decided I needed something for cerebral stimulation, so I took up ham radio. Actually, I'd returned to ham radio. I had my novice license many years ago, but never really took it very far. But it's been fun.
What's the most boring experience you remember with amateur radio? The one that you loathed the most?
Boring?
Boring.
I can't really say that any of it's been boring. I'm trying to learn CW. I find that trying to study the CW, try to learn to read the code better, is the most challenging and tedious. But I'm not really bored with it. But you know what I mean?
sure, sure. I mean, it takes a lot of time to learn that, right?
Well,
I barely remember 5 word per minute.
well, I mean, at 5 words, I could probably keep up, but when they go 5, I'm counting. When they go 15, I'm recognizing characters. But what happens is they get ahead of me on the characters. I can get 2 or 3 out of the word, and then I lose it, and then I'm disoriented. But I'm gaining, so I just keep at it.
Okay. Right on.
I'm going to get there. They'll cut us off here in a few minutes. But we got a couple left.
Oh, I don't care if they got us out. Yeah.
Yeah.
The latest, the most boring thing, or I shouldn't say boring, I should say the most dissatisfying experience I had was trying to start a ham radio club for preppers. And that didn't work out real well. I couldn't get any of the officers to, we had officers, but we couldn't get any of the officers to show up to any of the online meetings.
Yeah.
So I shut that down. And that's when I was working on the mathematics. But the most exciting was finally building my field day box and continuing to work on other field day boxes. I've never actually I've been to field day sites, but I've never actually participated in field day before in all these
Field day
years.
is fun. I mean, it's fun in the sense that, all right, I'm not a rag chewer. Okay, I'll get on and I'll visit with folks occasionally when I put up an antenna, I want to test it with
Sure.
something, but I don't spend every day. And FT8, everybody's excited about FT8, and I can do it, but I kind of find that boring. Now I find that boring.
Okay.
Watching the 2 computers just talk to each other. Now, it could be exciting when you're getting the Philippines or whatever, but that passes quickly. And to me, and that's why I've decided that I want to do Morse code, because I think that's more, you're more connected in ways. I don't know. And I also like the simplicity of it.
The simplicity of Morse code. Agreed.
Yeah.
Eventually when I retire, I might bounce back and forth between whatever the digital mode of the day is and Morse code. It's been a long time since I've done Morse code, but to me that's a bit of a challenge, and I like a challenge.
4 or 5 transistors and a hacksaw blade and a couple of contacts and a little bit of wire, and you can talk halfway around the world.
Amazing.
I mean, that is
absolutely amazing.
That is. So, that's where my greatest interest is at the moment. But we'll get there.
Is there a piece of software for Windows that will allow you to work with 2 separate computers, but treat the other computer like it's like it is an actual separate computer, but where you can move your mouse back and forth between the screens? Does that make sense? Two different sets.
I'm pretty sure there is. I don't know what it is though. I think I've seen some posts and some videos about that.
I could sure use that.
I have not clicked on it to watch
gosh.
it. I saw the clickbait, but I haven't watched them to see what it is. I think there is some hardware that will let you interface a single keyboard to multiple computers, which would be phenomenal over here on what I've got.
It'd be amazing to set up, 1 or more computers with whatever the displays are, and then if I move my mouse, that I'm on this other computer.
Yep.
But same set of, not have to change out the keyboard and mouse all the time.
Right. Best I can do is just multi-monitor, single computer at the moment, but
yeah.
Anyway. Well, you're going to come out. So you're coming out to field day this Saturday?
This Saturday? No, I'm in COVID quarantine right now. And I don't want to chance any of those old fellas. I don't have COVID per se, but I don't want to risk any of those old fellas picking up something I could be carrying, in my system. Right.
Yeah.
I remember when we had a RSV outbreak many years ago. One of my mentors he was in his 80s. He went and picked up a cough around that time, and eventually he passed away.
Ow.
And yeah, 80s. He's got at least 10 more years left in the guy. But it is what it is. But what I'd like to do is get these systems finished that I'm working on, and get them into the hands of somebody who really contests hard. What I've done is I've managed to take, if I say 3-com Peltor Comtac headset, do you know what I'm talking about?
Maybe, but no, probably not.
It's the old-fashioned military style headsets from Gulf War II.
Okay.
And I figured out a way of getting one of their headsets that has dual downleads, meaning you have 2 push-to-talk buttons, where one ear is listening to one radio and the other ear is listening to the other radio. And I put, in fact, you see in the picture here where you see the faceplate of the actual box. And underneath that little red cap is the actual connector for the headset, where we can operate both radios quite literally at the same time.
Okay.
With the same headset. And I want to get this system in the hands of a contester and have them just beat this system up, see what they can do to it, operating wise. And you can barely see it, but there's quarter-inch jacks in there for whatever headset a person wants to use. And those were left in there on purpose. And I want to get somebody to jack into these things and put it through its paces and test it out and see what works and see what doesn't work. And that's the circuit I got to learn how to make. I've got the diagram. The guy who put the audio electronics together for me did a kind of a rush job on it, but I want to get it done right. And something like, what's that package they call it? Eagle or something like that, Autodesk Eagle or something where I can make design a little circuit board and have somebody go print it off for me. And then I can redo the electronics in this system to make it a bit more robust and more reasonable. So I've been collecting wiring, connectors, and all that kind of stuff, and honing my skills again so I can jump back in there and redo the inside. The latest project I've been working on the inside of that thing is using a couple of Raspberry Pis to remotely control them. Mm-hmm. And I did manage to get HRD up and running on the systems. But it running on Linux, you lose a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff you just can't run. You can control it, but it's really sluggish on a Pi. So I got a couple of these little Pi 02Ws. I want to try that, see what happens with that. But I found some of this Linux stuff that's out there did a just fine job. I might just go ahead and go with the Linux software. You can remote into the 2 little Pis that control the radios, and it from a single machine, and it works just fine.
Well, the MFJ Pi server thing that they did was kind of right down that line, wasn't it?
Well, that's when I read about that, that's where I kind of got the idea, and I thought, well, why can't I just use Wi-Fi across the room on one of these little Raspberry Pis? I didn't have any idea where to even begin with this thing. I mean, I didn't know anything about a Raspberry Pi, and I got to tell you, this is like 3 weeks ago, so this is all new.
Pretty amazing little devices for the money when you can get them.
Well, the idea of being able to hook them up to the back of the radio inside the little case and be able to remote into it and control the radio. I mean, it's any ham can do that. I was surprised at how far the libraries have come to allow us to do these things. And I think I spent maybe $50 on the whole project to get it to that point. So the price was certainly right.
Yeah, they're pretty amazing. Yeah.
But I think the next project after that is going to be working on. They have one of these little, you know, those old 1980s, 1970s rotator controllers. You can probably get online pretty cheap, I think, these days.
Yeah.
Well, I was searching around for the parts to put together my own rotator controller because I was going to convert the rotator over. I didn't know where to even begin, so I just started collecting parts I thought were appropriate. And I was really surprised when I found out who is it that makes those really good keyers? Yeah, look at that. Oh my gosh, I love it. I think it was
I don't know why I flipped mirror image on my monitor, but
it looks fine here.
But
I think it was Vibroplex. Turns
okay.
out they make a rotator controller. I don't even know what you want to call it. It's a card that will interface between your computer and all these old rotator controllers. All you have to do is open up the box, wire it up, and you've got computer control. And I got to thinking, why can't I just hook up a Pi to one of those things? Stick the whole box, stick the guts of the entire thing inside a utility box at the base of a tower, and then access it via Wi-Fi, the rotator controller and everything right there inside the utility box off of some DIN rails or something.
Yeah.
And not have to run any control cable between the house and the tower. So that's a project that's waiting.
That'd be fun. I mean, I can see it.
Wish you could see this on camera. I got this controller right here in my hands, and it looks very much like the little motor controllers that somebody would get for an Arduino or a Pi.
So you can probably get a Pi hat controller and fundamentally do it.
Well, these are relays.
Yeah.
This is the first time I'm looking at this little board. Oh, I wish I had the camera up and running.
That's why I enjoy the Arduinos, because I mean, the big reason is they're cheap. I mean, a Nano's I bought 10 of them for $3 a piece. Now they're about $5 maybe, but they're still, it's a lot like the Pi W, the little, not as powerful by any means. It's more like what is the one that Pi came out with now, the really tiny one?
Oh, I know which one I don't know, Pico or Nano.
Yeah, anyway, it's more equivalent to that, but you've got 8 analog functions and a 12 or 13 digital, 12, I think, digital, channels, and there's a lot of control you can do with that. All you need is a opto-isolated relay board, and bam. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to eventually be looking at what they put on this little board. I've taken it out of the package for the first time. It's been sitting in here for months. And they're using, this looks like a CPU, an Atmel Mega 328 PB.
328. That's a Arduino, basic Arduino chip.
Holy cow! So this is basically an Arduino project board that these guys put together.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, that is.
I'm assuming this is some kind of relay controller. I'm looking at 3 big gigantic relays, a lot of terminal. Let me see if I can figure this thing out. It's got some kind of USB. I'll bet that's a USB controller that I'm looking at. I'm not real, I'm not an expert on these things at all.
Well, that thing is an interesting. It's probably a derivative of an Arduino. You can use the Uno, the Arduino Uno, they socket mount that chip. Look, we're about to be gone.
That's too bad. We're just now getting into the technical side
Well,
of the meeting.
come back next week and we'll have more things to talk about.
I'll tell you what, I'll come back with this little board and hopefully somebody in the group has seen them before. We can just talk about it and
Have
get out
fun. Yeah,
the little Raspberry Pi and see what can happen, you know?
sounds like fun.
All right. Anyway,
It's been fun visiting.
been a pleasure talking with you as well. Have a good evening.
I'll do it. You as well. See you next week, I hope.
7-3.
73. Bye.